Hello, water signs, and welcome into your reading for the second half of March. So this is a reading where we're going to be taking a look at the energy for your job and career, love and relationships, and then life path and mission. And we'll take a look in general for water signs, and then I'll go sign by sign and pull some additional cards for clarification, and also pull some oracle cards as well. So before we jump into that part of the reading, let's take a look at if there's any specific crystal that it is recommended that you work with for the second half of the month. So I have gotten the question before about what do you mean when you say work with crystals when you're meditating, and how do I do that? So what I do, actually this one came out yesterday as well for air signs, ruby, which is about rootedness, vitality, and manifestation. So what I do when I'm working with crystals is a lot of times, especially if it's one of these towers, I'll hold it in my hand like this. So when I go into a crystal shop, that's usually what I do is I'll hold it and see how it feels in my hand. Some of the ones like this one that's a little bit too big, I use this more for decoration rather than meditating, but especially kind of smaller ones like this, I feel like they fit nicely in my hand. And then when I'm doing my deep breathing, you can put this over like your heart chakra and focus on breathing in all that good positive energy. If you're in a place where there's lots of nice light, envision drawing that beauty in on each breath and then exhaling out any of the heavy negative energy that you might be holding on to. If you're not in a nice, pretty place, then in your mind, think about a beautiful location for you. Maybe that's sitting on a beach. Maybe that's walking out in the woods. Maybe that's standing by a creek and listening to the water. Whatever is a relaxing and beautiful place for you. So, and we'll refer back to this one as well, this rootedness, vitality, and manifestation. So right now is a really good time to work on your manifesting because we do have the eclipses that are coming up right now. So as we jump into the reading and start with the shuffling, I'll talk to you about what's happening with the different transits and things like that. On the 19th, we have the sun entering Aries. So Aries season is about to start, and that has a lot to do with like energy and drive and action and enthusiasm. So you're going to be having that kind of sense of, all right, let's get things done. Let's infuse some energy here because Aries is the first major, or the first one in the zodiac cycle. And then also on the 22nd, we have Mars entering Pisces. And Mars is that same type of energy as Aries, which is that drive and enthusiasm for getting things done. So that's a great time to work on spiritual pursuits and creative projects. Looking a lot also at your gut instincts, like what is your gut telling you to do. So I'll talk about the last one here in a second as we get into the reading. But as always, remember, take only what resonates. If this is not matching up with your storyline, that just means this message is for a different water sign out there that's listening. And also, there will be some additional special readings as we get into the eclipses, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted when those new ones come out. So let's go ahead and jump into today's reading. And this is on job and career. So in the recent past, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse, currently sitting in the Hanged Man in reverse energy, with the next level of energy coming in with the Knight of Pentacles. So in the recent past, there's been kind of some sense of like disappointment or feeling unfulfilled at work. And so then that has ended up leading you into this Hanged Man in reverse energy, which is like that sense of stagnation and a little bit of this like needless sacrifice and just delaying making any decision, like you're stalling, like you just don't want to have to take a look at it. Because sometimes, especially when it has to do with like your job and career, that's kind of a big topic. So, sometimes there's going to be that energy of, do I really want to deal with this? I don't know. Maybe not. So you might be pushing off making a decision there. But then the next level of energy coming in is this like kind of hard work and patient type of energy. So we'll see sign by sign whether this is hard work at your current job to try to get things back on track, or whether it looks like there's a new energy that's wanting to come in, like a new job, transferring to a new department, taking your career in a different direction, things like that. So that is job and career. And as we get into the love and relationship part, the other really big thing that's happening at the end of this month is we have a Libra lunar eclipse. And Libra is about relationships. So this eclipse is going to be taking a better look at your relationships and kind of maybe, I guess, doubling down on your commitment to the relationships where you have a good connection with the person, and putting you in that energy of really kind of asking yourself some tough questions about the relationships that you have that don't have as good of a connection. Like, why am I still in it? Is there something I could or should do to try to change it? Or is it time to move past this relationship? And remember, relationships can be romantic relationships, they can be friendships, whatever that case may be. So that is on the 25th. One of the other things to note, so we don't have any retrogrades currently or for the second half of the month, but Mercury retrograde happens on April 1st. So the shadow energy is going to be coming in during that Libra lunar eclipse. So remember, Mercury retrograde has a lot of energy around disruptions in technology, in communications, delays, things like that. So usually Mercury retrograde causes some issues, or it kind of heightens some issues. When we look at our relationship in the recent past, we have our Six of Cups in reverse, currently sitting in Queen of Wands in reverse energy, with the next level being our Four of Pentacles energy. So also something to note with the lunar eclipse, that has the energy of a full moon and a new moon simultaneously overlapping, because you go from having your full moon, which is about closing out cycles, wrapping things up, things that aren't working for you. And then immediately, then as the eclipse happens, you get to a point where it's a new moon. And that is the energy of planting seeds for what you want to see more of in your life. And then immediately it goes back into full moon, which is about closing out those cycles. So it's kind of like you do sort of a round of purging and closing, and then you start planting seeds, and then you have another round of purging and closing things. So that is the energy that goes on during this eclipse. So keep that in mind, that there could be some overlap of wrapping things up and starting something new. So here on the relationship side, since we have our Six of Cups in reverse, you've had feelings of being stuck, like focusing too much on the past and kind of like not really wanting to see things clearly. There is an energy of like leaving home that happens with the Six of Cups in reverse, but it's like you felt like you were getting stuck in the past, going on some of these loops. So for some of you, that could be a sense of like nostalgia, that you just keep replaying the good memories, but you're realizing that, wait a second, all I have is good memories. There's not new positive things that are happening right now. So that could be some of, that Libra lunar eclipse energy, where, you're looking at, do you have good connection with that person, or is most of your positive connection, most of your positive feelings towards this relationship tied to what you had in the past? Maybe the person has certain sentimental value to you about what they represented in your past. This could also be a matter of looping through past arguments. Like if you've had troubles recently and you feel like you've been fighting more, there's more disconnect, that it's like you're looping through those arguments and just not able to move past that. And that's leaving you in this kind of selfish, overbearing, sometimes kind of envious energy. Like, the envious part could be, I wish we could just get back to the past. Like, why is it that some of our other, maybe you have other couples, like friend couples, that you all got together at the same time, and it's like, oh, well, they're still happy, why aren't we still happy, type of energy. And then the next level of energy coming in is this like security, but this also has a little bit of possessiveness too, with the Four of Pentacles. So we'll dig deeper into that for each of the individual signs to see, to see what that looks like in terms of the future path here. All right, and then let's take a look at life path and mission for our water signs and see what else wants to come through here. Okay. In the recent past, we have the Star in reverse, currently sitting in the Wheel of Fortune energy. Let me scoot these up just a little bit. And then next level of energy is the Six of Wands in reverse. So in the recent past, there's been kind of like a little bit of feeling uninspired, feeling like there's some distrust or lack of faith in the process or in the idea that the universe has a plan for me. So you could have been kind of faltering, feeling like, really? There's no meaning to any of this. Like, I don't know what my life path is. I don't know. And some of this can also be getting tied if things were good in the past and you've been looping and reliving past memories with somebody, if this is a long-term relationship that you've been in, feeling like, well, I thought that was my path. I really thought that that's what I was being called to do. And if you're in a bad spot, it could be also leaving you questioning, like, was I wrong? Was that not really my life path? Currently, though, you're sitting in this Wheel of Fortune energy, and that definitely has a sense of like good karma, good luck. Things are changing for the better for you. So it's fated and destined that things will be turning around and that you will be figuring out what is your mission, what is your purpose. So that's the energy that you're sitting in right now. But then the next level is a little bit of like disappointment coming in. So right now you're thinking that you have it figured out, but some of this, because of the fact that the next level of energy coming in is an energy of disappointment, it's almost like you're talking yourself into thinking, yes, this is what I'm called to do, because it gives you comfort to have that sense of purpose. So I think in between these two things, really working on your rootedness, like it came up in the beginning, working on your rootedness and working on manifestation and manifesting, more positive outcomes, manifesting clarity, happiness, and during eclipse time is a good time to work on manifesting. So this is the overall energy, and then we're going to take a look sign by sign and see what additional messages want to come through for each of the signs. We'll get some clarification if it seems like it's too vague. So we will start, since we're on water signs, let's start with our Cancer and see what messages want to come through on job and career. Ooh. Okay, so these two came out. We have our Six of Pentacles in reverse and the High Priestess. So there's a little bit, the Six of Pentacles in reverse it's like a lack of charity where you're expecting payback. Like, I'm not going to put my energy forth unless I know that I have something coming back. But when you pair this with the High Priestess, that is more, because this is like your inner wisdom, your divine feminine, higher consciousness. And so it's less about the pettiness, because this, that type of energy can be read one of two ways. So with it coming out with the High Priestess, it's not a petty energy. It's more of a protecting yourself energy, protecting your inner child and saying, no, I'm done with the days of I just pour myself out over and over and over again and just hope that it's going to be reciprocated or that my bucket gets filled. So it's like this protective energy of your inner child saying, I am absolutely willing to put forth the work, put forth the effort, and be very giving in my job, but there has to be a reason for it. It has to be balanced. My inner child needs to be taken care of. So remember, relationships, it's all about energy exchange. And it's not to say that energy exchange, that it has to come back to you in exactly the way you put in, but there has to be some sort of energy exchange. Otherwise, this just turns into, an imbalanced situation, energy vampire. So, with that next level of energy, this hard work and this patience coming in, I think that is being tempered by the fact of you're going to put your energy in where you think that you're standing the most chance of success and standing the most chance of having a balanced situation, because in the past you've been giving too much and you felt unfulfilled and disappointed, because a lot of times with work it's that idea of, oh well, if I just work a little bit harder, then then it'll be better. And I remember at my job, I was talking to somebody in the accounting department, and we were trying to get a check request to go out to somebody, and it had been there for too long. And so I actually went to the lady's desk and was talking to her about it. And she's like, well, it's in my basket. I haven't gotten to it yet. But frankly, I am not working past 5 o'clock, because if I consistently am working past my 5 o'clock stop time, then my manager doesn't know that we're understaffed, because I'm just picking up the slack and picking up, and making sure all the work gets done. So she said, if you want to send an email to my manager and say, this is taking too long, that's fine with me, because I've been working my full days. And so it was interesting, because at first it was that thought of, well, that's not really right. I mean, come on, like if you're behind, you need to catch up. But I see her point in terms of protecting her inner child, that, wait a second, lack of planning on the company's part or the company being down doesn't mean that now I just have to keep giving of myself, because if there's nothing on the other side of it for me, this is not a position that paid overtime, then it's just like you're getting taken advantage of. So I think that's this message here, is that you feel like you've put in this extra work and it's, leaving you feeling unfulfilled. And so, something needs to change. You need to protect your inner child. So there's this shift that happens that says, okay, I'm only going to put forth this extra effort when there's going to be something positive for me. So, and that's kind of that rootedness as well of knowing your worth and acknowledging that, that your time is worth it, and protecting your inner child there. All right, let's take a look at love and relationships for Cancer. Okay, we have our Three of Pentacles, and we have the Empress. So some of the times, so with this Three of Pentacles, that's this this collaborative type of effort or a collaborative type of energy and teamwork. A lot of times this is also seen as a twin flame card. It's, the energy of the divine masculine, divine feminine, and of spirit. And so then on top of that energy, you also have the Empress, and the Empress is going to be that loving, flowing, nurturing, feminine energy. So when we look at it, if you've been looping through the past and it's leaving you feeling this sense of like this selfish sort of energy, there is I'll call it more loving energy that wants to come in. So let's see if the Romance Oracle gives a better indication. Oh, that was a lot of cards jumping, as to whether this is a shift in your current relationship or if it's a new relationship coming in. Separation. So it looks like within this current relationship, when it's saying time apart is on the horizons, that this needs to take a break, because you're feeling like it's just not balanced. It's not fulfilling. It's not filling your bucket. And while yes, every relationship goes through certain seasons where, you're happier and more connected, and then ones where things feel a little stagnant or off or different, it looks like you're getting to a point where there's going to be some sort of a separation. Now, whether that's physically separating, if you two are cohabitating, or whether that's more of just emotionally taking a little bit of a break and taking some distance there to be able to find some of this collaboration, some of this this feminine, loving feel. So let's take a look and see, timing wise, when does it look like this Three of Pentacles energy is coming in? All right. Not in the foreseeable future. So it looks like there's some work that needs to be done in terms of this separation. When you're spending time apart, what What all work needs to be done? So let's see if we can get any other indication here with the cards about what work you're being called to do during that time. So we have Six of Pentacles and then Three of Wands. So your Six of Pentacles is like a charitable, generous type of energy. And then also your Three of Wands is about travel and growth and freedom. So it looks like you do still have that desire to give and to be like with this charitable energy. And also with the Three of Pentacles, it's like you want to have some happy collaboration where you're giving energy and you're feeling it in return. And so with this card, with this travel and growth, some of it's a matter of you having personal growth. And then once you get to that point, then you can see after you've had some healing, after you've had some growth, and see whether this looks like that's still a fit for you, or whether you should be moving on to a more balanced, fulfilling, and rewarding relationship. All right, so life path and mission here for Cancer. Let's see what additional cards are coming through. We have our King of Wands in reverse, and then we have the Hermit in reverse. So with your life path and mission, this is like this impulsive, sometimes almost like bullying energy. And then the Hermit in reverse is a sense of like loneliness and withdrawing from some of your loved ones and like a sense of sadness. So it was, as we were talking about in the intro part, it was almost like there was a sense of, oh, well, then this must be my new life path. And you kind of like jump into something because you want to feel like you have a purpose, but you jumped too quickly because you end up disappointed, and then it ends up putting you in this lonely, more isolated energy where you feel almost like worse about the situation. So I think with your current energy of saying, oh, this is my life path, I think the message here is that you need to make sure that from a rootedness perspective, make sure you're asking the divine for guidance. You're asking your higher self, your spirit guides, and really taking the time to meditate, to consider what your life path or mission really is before you jump on that bandwagon and get too far into that process, because it looks like there might be some disappointment on the horizon that maybe that's not really what you thought it was. All right. Communication is key. So I'm going to say that's going in here with this relationship where you're trying to figure out what to do with it. And, so just having more communication about that and trying to see if where you are is salvageable or whether it's something that you need to step away from. So also when we look at this and we have our Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands, so having that three energy, the threes are about like kind of creativity. And so you have two of them in here. And, so it's like you want to have more of a creative, adventurous type of energy. And it's almost like this has kind of gotten stale. Maybe it was creative and you felt inspired at the beginning and now not so much. Because you also have a couple of sixes in there, which is kind of an energy of perseverance. So it's like you're hoping to get back to that creativity, but having some communication in there. So new moon in Gemini, if you look at that from a timing perspective, Gemini season starts mid-May. But all right, let's pull another oracle card down here and see what we have. Acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. So some of it here, whether you have it on your life path and mission or whether you have it in the relationship line is, and that's part of the growth here. One of your lessons on this planet during this incarnation is learning to accept that there's some things you can't change. You can't control everything. So were you jumping into whatever you thought this new life path was because you thought you could change certain factors? So part of it is there's some things that you can't change. And maybe that's recognizing that earlier, that okay, if this seems like it's the right path, except for this one thing, don't go into it assuming you can change that one thing, because you may not be able to. And if you're not able to, do you still feel like that's the right path, or is that setting you up for disappointment? So, Cancer, I hope this has been helpful for you, but as always, take only what resonates. And as I mentioned, I'll be having some special readings for the eclipse coming up. So if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos are posting, make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time. All right, Scorpio. Let's take a look at what all messages are wanting to come through for our Scorpio. And we're going to pull a couple cards from this Celtic Oracle, or from this Celtic Tarot deck, and see what else we have. So first off, with our job and career, I pulled two of them together. 10 of Swords, and then 10 of Cups in reverse. So looking at that, when you have a couple of 10s, that is kind of that energy of completion. So it looks like something is wrapping up. And so in the first part of the reading, when I said we'll take a look and see energetically whether this Knight of Pentacles, this hard work and patience, whether that's hard work and patience in your current job or in a new job, it looks like this is in a new job because you have 2 10 cards that are coming out here. So the 10 of Swords is an energy of just like exhaustion and defeat. I mean, look at this guy. Oops. He looks like he's kind of done. And then you also have the 10 of Cups in reverse in reverse. And so that's about having some, trouble, sometimes trouble at home or having a separation. And so with the 9 of Cups coming in reverse and the 10 of Cups coming in reverse, that's like this emotional part, like just exhaustion, just depleted. And so it looks like there's this push to get out of that and into something else. So let's see from a timing perspective when that new start from the job side of things looks like it could be coming. Within 3 months. So it looks like you're at the end of your rope here in terms of, kind of spinning your wheels and feeling like you're just disappointed and you're just done. So now is a good time to work on manifesting something new and really get rooted and looking at what is it that you really want? What is it that you want to go towards? Because remember, when you're manifesting, you need to manifest from a high vibration standpoint. So you can't sit there and go, oh my gosh, this job is terrible. I hate this job. I hate it. 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 And think that the universe is going to be like, oh, here's this wonderful, fantastic job. Like you have to acknowledge, what lessons were here in this job. What was, it was giving you some opportunity for growth. So everything in your life is an opportunity. You may not like it. You may not like whatever the lesson is that's coming through. You may not like the people that are delivering that lesson to you. But if you can respect the fact that it played a role in your development, it played a role in your learning, in your growth, and kind of, thank the universe for that experience, that thank you for showing me. And sometimes it's even a matter of saying, thank you for showing me what I don't want in my life. And really work on manifesting something new, something positive, having that excited, joyful energy about, okay, something new is coming my way. Something much better is coming my way. I've learned this lesson and I'm on to the new thing. So that is what it looks like on the job standpoint for you, job and career for Scorpio. Now let's take a look at love and relationships and see what messages are coming through here for you. All right. The Tower and the Queen of Pentacles. So with this, that was one of the things we were looking at in the initial read is, does this mean that you're ending, or that this relationship is coming to an end, or is it that you're working on how to transform it? It looks like for you, Scorpio, the relationship is coming to an end. That Tower moment, that massive shift in your experience. And so the next energy that wants to come in is more of this comfortable, luxurious, like nurturing type of energy. And so this is what wants to come in to take the place of all of this, kind of all of this gritty type of energy. So something good is wanting to come in and take its place, but in order for that to happen, what's currently there needs to go. Let's take a look at our romance oracle cards, see what additional information is coming through for you. Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. So with this, the way that it reads, that it's coming out, is it's not so much trust in the other person, it's trust in the divine. It is trust in the process that life is all about cycles and death and rebirth and death and rebirth. So things don't stay constant forever. So trust that if this tower moment is happening, it's happening to bring something better in for you. Let's take a look at timing of that, just so that you kind of have an idea of when that tower might be coming in. Right around the corner. So it looks like it's going to be coming in soon. So Scorpio, it looks like you've got a lot of things going on. You've got, a job situation that's wrapping up. You've got a relationship that might be wrapping up. So some of this, as I was saying in the beginning about with the Libra Lunar Eclipse, where you have endings and then planting seeds of new beginnings and then more wrapping up of cycles, it definitely seems to fit here with you, that you have a lot of that happening. And especially with that being a Libra lunar eclipse, where you're really looking at relationships and you have a good connection. And it looks like when you put this one under the microscope, you're realizing, you know what, maybe this isn't a very good situation. So a lot of it too, as we look at manifesting and your rootedness and even this vitality of having the mental vigor to say, you know what, I'm reflecting on this situation. I'm not gonna do it through rose-colored glasses. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, but look at this, because 12 years ago when we first met, you were so sweet and I felt so happy, but if that was 12 years ago, that's an awful lot of time between then and now. So what are they doing now? What are you doing now? So having this time where you're really working on rootedness, what is important to you, what is it that you want in life, and trust that you're being guided by your intuition to the path that is the right path for you. All right. Let's take a look at life path and mission. We have the Two of Pentacles and we have Judgment. So this is that energy of juggling different priorities. So, you have a decision that you're trying to make. And as we talked about in the general reading, there's this sense of, okay, now I know what my mission is. So in the recent past, there was a feeling of being uninspired, and like maybe you were lacking trust in the process, but all of a sudden you had recently had this surge of clarity or energy saying, okay, I know what my mission is. But then with the disappointment coming in, we had talked about that could be a situation where you were misreading what your mission was, because you were just wanting to get on mission. So juggling these different priorities, it's the priority of wanting to have something to pour your energy and your focus into, and wanting to feel like your life has purpose and clarity, and that you have a mission here, balancing that with what do you perceive that mission to be. So you want to have that desire and drive, but you also want to have true acknowledgement of what is that. So I think it maybe takes a little bit more discernment, takes a little bit more connection to yourself, working on that meditating, where you're really tapping into your intuition and not letting monkey mind take over and letting ego take over. Because we also have the Judgment card here, and that is about a sense of like awakening and rebirth. And in the upright, it's usually favorable judgment. So are you learning your lessons? Are you really taking that time to reflect on what's important to you, or are you just trying to speed through to the next lesson? So I think if you're able to take that time and kind of balance it out of, yes, you don't want to feel like you're just stagnating for a long period of time, but you also don't want to rush into something that's not really where you're being guided to go. I think then you'll get that sense of favorable judgment. So I think the lesson there is to have a little bit more discernment when you're making big choices. Let's take a look at a couple other oracle cards. We have it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. So that's, for full moon in your time is what is it that you need to release? So if some of it is related to having that fear of, oh, my life is stagnating, I'm wasting time. Maybe that's one of the fears. This isn't necessarily attached to this line, but what negativity needs to be released from that relationship, that love and relationship line? And let's pull one more oracle card for Scorpio and see what's going on. Success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. So I feel like those colors are calling. So the judgment there, the kind of that awakening is learning to lead with love. And if this line does not have that sense of love, if it has more of a sense of I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, or I'm here because this is what I've always done, that's not necessarily a reason to stay. So, and this was in a work context, but at work, people used to say the worst answer you can give when someone says, why do we do it this way, is, well, we've always done it that way. Like, that's not a legit reason as to why you're continuing to do something that way, because it may not be the best way. So if you're staying in a situation because it's familiar, that should not be enough of a reason to stay. Like, your success is going to be about love. Like, so make sure that if you're doing something here as well on a life path and mission, that you're doing it with love, and that your life path and mission during this incarnation, it's not, oh, I want to become, a millionaire. Like, your lesson is not how to accumulate wealth at all costs. So it's going to be something more spiritual than that. So make sure that what you identify as being your life path and mission is something that really has love as the basis for it. So I hope this has been helpful for you, Scorpio. And if it has been, I would encourage you to like the video and share it with anybody else that you think might benefit from this. And as I mentioned at the beginning as well, there will be some additional videos specifically coming out around the eclipse. So make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those videos post. Otherwise, Scorpio, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time. Alrighty, Pisces. Oops. So we will go ahead and jump in and see what additional messages want to come through for Pisces today. I'll get some clarifying cards here. Alrighty. So job and career, we have the Sun, which is about your abundance and blessings, and then Nine of Cups in reverse. So it's funny. So we have Nine of Cups in reverse twice. So that is a very, very strong message of feeling disappointed and feeling unfulfilled in your job. So there is an element, though, of blessings that are wanting to come in. So as we had talked about in the first part of the video, like the overall reading in the video, where it was the question of, okay, is this Knight of Pentacles energy, this hard work and patience, is this hard work and patience related to staying in your current job, or the hard work of pushing through to find something that's a better fit for you, that's going to bring in these blessings? So this looks like it's pushing you in the direction of something new, because if you have the Nine of Pentacles twice there. But let's pull a couple more cards, and here we'll pull it out of this deck and see what additional messages want to come through about this job situation. Okay, well, those two were the ones that flipped. We had the Lovers in reverse and the Tower in reverse. So the Tower in reverse is about trying to hold together something that should be going. Like you're resisting change, like you don't want change to come in. And it's interesting because this card has come out, the Tower in reverse has come out. I've done the air and the fire readings. It came out in this position. But I still had this. If you watch the channel, the daily polls, you may have seen this card in some of the readings. So the Tower in reverse, I like to describe that as, with this lady, she's sitting in a jello mold, right? There's a futility to, if you were trying to hold this jello mold together, an inverted pyramid of a jello mold, it's futile. You know that you're not going to be able to do it because it's jello. So there's kind of that energy with the Tower in reverse, even as it comes out in this deck, of there's no way that you're going to be able to do that long term. Of course, it's going to fall apart. So, there's that resistance to change coming in. And then we also have the Lovers in reverse, which is disharmony and distrust and imbalance as it pertains to this job situation. So it seems like there's really some, bad situations that are happening on the job front, but you do have this Sun energy that wants to come in as well. The Emperor. So in order to get to that Sun energy, you're going to need your Emperor energy as well, which is that strong, masculine, driven, powerful, effective leader. Like that's the sort of energy you need to get out of this situation. And let's take a look from a timing perspective of when it looks like Pisces is leaning into that Emperor energy to be able to get that Sun card, the blessings. Winter. So it looks like if you're in the northern hemisphere, it looks like that's going to be a little ways off. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's coming pretty quickly here. But there is a sense of, you're tired of having this stagnation, but you do have this new, fresh energy that's coming in, like this driven energy. So some of it is between now and winter time, wherever in the world that resonates with you, that you are kind of getting your ducks in a row. You're looking at other options. So this energy of really getting those blessings, really stepping into that masculine energy, that strong masculine energy, it could be a matter of when do you actually tell this job you're quitting? And it may take until winter for you to find something else, find something that's a fit, but it looks like you do have that good positive energy coming in. All right, that is on jobs and careers. Let's take a look at love and relationships and see what wants to come through there. All right, we have our Nine of Swords and we have our King of Cups in reverse. So this is going to be a sense of being manipulated and like worried and stressed out about things. And then you also have this element of anxiety and trauma and stress. She's very stressed out and worried and anxious, and this is worry and anxiety. So this whole situation is causing you a great deal of anxiety. And if a situation is right for you, like, because you can feel it in your body. Your body has this amazing way of communicating to you what the ego it ends up blocking. So your ego sometimes will obscure your intuitive sense of what's right for you, but you can feel it in your body. Like if you're driving back to your house at the end of the workday and you can just feel yourself getting anxious, or you have that feeling of like, oh, a dark cloud is coming over me as I'm coming back home, that means that is not the right place for you. That is not a happy place. So either you change the dynamic there or you need to leave. And so this is kind of that energy of just having, it comes across as a very toxic, bad place for you to be. So definitely for Pisces, I'm picking up on a lot of toxicity there. And, I would caution you about staying and putting in more effort in what appears to be a very toxic, for some of you, it might even be, an abusive situation. But these were the cards that jumped release your ex, and deception. So someone is wearing a false mask in this relationship, and then release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. So some of this, it could be whatever needs to be released out, and kind of clearing that field. So let's pull one more, because those were the jumper cards. This is, keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So if this is your usual type, there could be somebody that's more unexpected that could be coming into your life. But with this release your ex, it doesn't necessarily mean, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, ex-husband type of thing. It could be whatever used to hold your energy. Just releasing that and cutting the ties. Or for some of you, maybe part of this narrative is that an ex was interfering in your current relationship. But actually, before we go on to the next one, let's take a timing card to see when it looks like this energy may turn around, because this is a very heavy energy. So let's see when it looks like that's going to turn to a more positive energy for you. By the next full moon. So technically that's on the 25th, so that's pretty quick. So some of this, for some of you, this could be coming in really quickly, and it can also be a matter of acknowledging that that's what needs to happen. So maybe for some of you, this reading kind of confirmed what you were thinking, and you're realizing, hey, it's time to release this and move on from this situation. And it looks like, and I've never noticed this in this card before, it looks like there's 3, I don't know if those are supposed to be like devils or demons or what it is, that's like looking down and coming down on her as well. So definitely some energy of maybe like dark spirits, dark energy at play here. All right, let's take a look at life path and mission for Pisces. We have our 5 of Pentacles in reverse, and we have our 7 of Swords. So this has an element of like lies and deceit and cheating, but then our 5 of Pentacles in reverse is about overcoming that adversity and moving on. So as we had talked about in the general reading, there was almost this sense of feeling like, oh, I know what my life path is, but that maybe you were kind of jumping into it a little bit too soon because there's disappointment that's coming in. And I think the disappointment is going to be that something wasn't as it seemed. So if it was a situation, maybe the situation wasn't communicated to you accurately. If you were looking at getting into a new project, maybe you just didn't have enough information about what that new path could look like. Or it could be somebody flat out lying to you about it or trying to pull one over on you. But there is a sense of moving on from that, of saying, okay, that's what happened. Let's forgive it and let's move on. But a lot of this message too, remember, was take the time to really meditate, really try to connect with spirit and discern what it is that your mission is, and not be too hasty in terms of wanting to jump into something. And some of this could be kind of intermixed with if you're looking at making changes here, if you've hit a point where you just feel really unhappy and it's like, okay, I've got to change this and my job is coming up to change, you could be in that energy of, okay, my life is just going in a totally different direction. And there may be some hastiness in terms of throwing everything out or like trying to land on a path to feel like you have purpose, but there's that message of, take your time and don't let pride get in your way. So if you have a situation where you think that maybe you're being led astray and maybe somebody's not giving you the right information, don't keep at it just because you feel like if you had to change courses that people would say, oh, well, what happened there? Make sure that you're doing what needs to be done in order to bring you onto your best life path, and not like trying to make yourself look better to others. Okay. Oh, and apparently I pulled 2. Friendship and patience. So with friendship, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason, and patience, I accept that everything happens in divine order. So this is definitely a message that goes here. Don't be quick to jump down a path because you just want to be on a path. And with this friendship card, and this could be going with, maybe somebody who is a friend. Maybe that person is meant to be in your life, even if they don't look like what you normally would look for in a partner. But then also, even as you're trying to figure out your life path, call in your soul tribe. Talk to people who understand you, who, you feel like understand who you are at the core. So sometimes that's not necessarily your family, depending on what your family dynamic is, because oftentimes family has all these layers of expectation and generational issues or trauma or structure built into it. So finding the people that you really connect with to be able to talk to about where you are, where you want to go. And that can be a great place to be able to get strength from and inspiration. So Scorpio, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to like it and share it with anyone else that you think might benefit from hearing this information. And as I mentioned, I will be doing some special readings for the eclipses that are coming up. So if you want to be alerted as to when those videos post, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.